here to help is Assistant Professor and Medical Director at UT Physicians Heights Clinic, Dr. Kenya Parks. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you.
This is, as I was just saying during the commercial break, I have a soon-to-be 6th grader, so I have a feeling this is pertinent for me. He wants to play sports. I mean, this is something that needs to be done for middle schools, right?
Yes. Typically, they start around 10 to 12, a lot in high school, and it's actually like a very important thing because we want to make sure that there's no issues before they participate.
And to be clear, too, this is much different than a wellness check that you do, you go to the doctor for your kids. Explain the difference.
So we focus on different things. Like when we talking about like sports physicals, we want to make sure that there's no pre-existing condition that could affect their play. So especially cardiovascular heart conditions that can impact them negatively. So definitely, it's a little different.
And by the way, a sports physical is required by law in many states. Isn't it also a chance for parents and also the student athlete to learn about how to listen to their bodies in case they're participating in sports and they feel a little off?
And that's why it's really great because it's a more holistic approach, right? We are finding out what are things that may be happening with their body that may be like be preemptive and to make sure that they doesn't cause them any harm, but also we give them a lot of good advice to prevent like a lot of injuries and know when to like not play.
Yeah, when to sit on the sidelines to prevent further injury.
Let's talk about the cardiovascular side of this because there are so many, you know, these stories that we've heard over the years. They've impacted so many people where they say, I had no idea that my child had this pre-existing. So how do we get those answers, even if there are no symptoms? Is that something extra that we do beyond just that sports physical?
So typically we go into the family's history and that'll be like step one. And sometimes there are conditions that exist within the family that gives us red flags that we should be looking out for, possible cardiovascular issues in the child. And the other thing is that a lot of times there may be small signs that are being ignored by the child or the parent that we are very keen to, that we'll be able to pick out. And so, and if it's necessary, we'll do further testing or refer to a cardiologist.
But that cardiovascular evaluation, that is part of the sports physical, right? So the heart is going to be checked out. And of course, checking out the list of medications that a young person is on, this is something that many parents overlook, right?
Right, exactly. And so not only cardiovascular, but respiratory if they have asthma. So it's like a holistic approach to make sure that they're ready to play. And so, yeah.
I think it's really interesting too because you know, as the child starts to age, you bring them into the picture as far as these are the things that you had, or if it's asthma or anything else, that you're now involving the child in the conversation.
Exactly.
You know, and that's allowing them to really listen to their bodies, whereas sometimes maybe kids don't know what these warning signs can feel like.
Right. So I've had like many athletes that they have had chest pain and they never told their parents, or maybe they didn't realize that they were having like asthma symptoms. So that underscores the importance of having these exams.
Now, there are some red flags that would be conditions that would essentially disqualify a young athlete from participating in sports. Can you walk us through some of those?
Sure. Like, for example, cardiomyopathies or prolonged QT syndrome. So, and then there may be something specific to certain type of sports, like individuals that have seizure disorders. So they may not be able to play certain sports, like maybe like if they have uncontrolled seizures, doing archery may not be the thing. So it really depends, but definitely like a lot of the cardiovascular issues that like cardiomyopathies and prolonged QT and arrhythmias.
And again, it's not about excluding these athletes. The bottom line is we want our young people to have a good time, but also be safe, and we're trying to prevent injury and in extreme cases, death.
It's more protective for the child.
And before we know it, school's going to be here. I know it's the end of August, August 26th, I believe, for HISD. So surrounding districts there, you know, right around there, plus or minus. So it's important to schedule the physical at least 6 weeks before that first scheduled practice. And if you back time that, now's a great time to get it in. Yeah, that's right now.
It's the perfect time.
And we've got a special offer for our viewers if they want to take part.
Yes, they're $19 sports physical, and they're like for children under 18.
Oh,
so it's like a great thing.
Yeah.
And it's like an intensive exam that we render, and so it's like a beautiful thing. And we get the family history, we do the full physical, and if there's any referrals that are necessary, we will do the referrals also.
I was not prepared for you to say it was that inexpensive. That is money well spent. Just $19, a bit of peace of mind. Give your child some preventive safety, right?
Absolutely.
Dr. Parks, thank you so much. 13 community locations. If you would like to schedule your sports physical or learn more about them, you can visit your nearest location. You can find them by visiting utphysicians.com/sportsphysicals, or you can give them a call at 888-4UT-DOCS, 4UT-DOCS. Dr. Parks, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Appreciate it. Hard to believe we're already talking about the beginning of school.